Charles Noble says, you must have long-range goals to keep you from being frustrated by short-range failures. You know, not only frustrated by those things, but you have to be able, the only way you delay momentary pleasure is based on the nobility of your vision, the nobility of your goal. If my goal is to change my family tree, I can give up purchasing some stupid thing that I can't afford on payments. But if I have no goals, and there's no nobility into my future, if I feel stuck, if I think someone else is in control and the game is rigged, well, that becomes fatalism, and what's the point? So I think you need to stop and think and be intentional about where you're going, and also, more importantly, why you're going there. One of the things that changed our lives, Sharon's and mine, when we went broke 20-something years ago. My goodness, I think it's 25 years ago was the bottom, as a matter of fact now. Slipped up on me the other day. Yeah, I believe it is. It's 88 to 13, 25 years, I believe it is, yeah. September 23rd of 1988. So 25 years ago this week, we filed bankruptcy. It's an interesting thing to think about. So, one of the things that changed our lives was that process of going into that mess and having done stupid so big and having our lives just fall apart around us, and the walls falling in, and you feel like it's an earthquake and you're out of control, and you have no sense of destiny, and everyone has a say in your life because you're a slave to everyone in sight. We owed everybody on the planet, it felt like. Now, in the bottom of that mess, with all the rubble that is your life falling in around you, you got several choices, and I will tell you the truth. The truth is I sat around, whined, moaned, and blamed everybody else for a while. You ever blame everybody else when you do something stupid? It's the government's fault. It's the IRS's fault. It's the bank's fault. It's my mean old boss's fault. It's my spouse's fault. It's got to be somebody's fault besides me, because I'm so freaking perfect. You ever do that? I did that. I sat around and blamed everybody else for a while. And so, I think that's the deal. And I just had to, I had to go, you know what? I did this. And once I did that, the thing that changed my life was the nobility of my future. I looked out there in the future and I said, you know what? This is it. Never again will we borrow money. Never again is American Express going to call my house and ask my wife why she would stay with a man that won't pay his bills. And yes, they did do that. And I was a very mad redneck. Never again. I'm going to be the last Ramsey in this branch of the family tree in debt. Because not only am I going to build so much wealth and save and invest, I'm going to teach my kids too. And I'm going to break this curse off of my family. I'm going to change my family tree. Once I had that huge why behind my goals, I had a real reason to do it. Then we set about the business of correcting our lives. People say, how did you bounce back after you went broke and lost everything? I really didn't bounce. I splatted. And I sat around and cried and whined and moaned and blamed everybody else. But once I turned it around, once I decided, the thing, that was one of the key things, was my faith walk, my walk with the Lord, allowed me to look into the future and go, I can break this curse off of my family permanently. We will never again, because we're going to make it a family tradition. You know, families have traditions, and some of them are positive and some of them are negative, and some of them are financial and some of them are career, and some of them are about politics and some of them are about their education. But families have traditions. What's your family tradition? Do you need a new one? Is your family tradition no one seems to work much around your place? Maybe you need a new family tradition. Is your family tradition divorce? Maybe you need a new family tradition. Is your family tradition substance abuse? Maybe you need a new family tradition. Is your family tradition is we spend everything we make, we get paid on Friday, woohoo, and by Monday we're all broke and blaming the man? Is that your family tradition? You need a new family tradition. That's the way we looked at it, and we said, you know what, we're our family's not bad people. I don't mean that, but the stupid things that we had done, we didn't want to be our family tradition. We said, this going broke thing, this borrowing money up to your eyeballs, this buying crap you can't afford with money you don't have to impress people you don't really like. This is not a way to live, and we're going to change this. We're going to change our family tree. We're going to change our direction. We're going to break this curse off of our family. And so we began to drive old beat-up used cars, and the kids grew up in consignment sale clothes, and we funded their college funds, and we funded our IRAs, and we saved, and we saved, and we paid off everything. Finally, we paid off the house. It took forever. You people do it so much faster because you got me to tell you how. There wasn't anybody talking about this stuff then. I was so weird. Everybody's looking at me. You need to go get 6 credit cards to rebuild your credit right after your bankruptcy. That was the advice I got. One guy told me, he said, sign up for a bunch of financial magazines. You'll get free pre-approved credit cards because you'll get on all their mailing lists if you sign up for Money and Kiplinger's and all that stuff. So if you want a bunch of pre-approved credit cards, just sign up for Money magazine. Isn't that funny? So, it's just stupid. So, we had to say, we need a new family tradition. We're going to break this cycle. We're going to teach our children how to work. We're going to teach them how to save. We're going to teach them how to give. We're going to teach them how to spend. We're going to teach our children. And we're going to leave them so much money that they have the ability to never have to think about money again. And they'll always be extraordinarily generous. Because one of the things we will teach them is that they don't own anything, that God owns it all. And so we're going to pass generational stewardship responsibility called living and leaving a legacy. And now we're teaching you guys how to do that in the new course, The Legacy Journey. And the new class, and these new live events we're doing all over the place. Legacy Journey Live. Rachel, my daughter, and I are going to be out teaching you the things that we did as we made that decision to change our family tree. We needed a new family tradition at the Dave Ramsey house. Not that my parents or Sharon's parents were bad. That's not what I'm saying. But at my house, we had done stupid. And we needed a new plan. And some of you sit around and blame your parents, or you blame this, or you blame that. It's time for you to get a mirror. You're the problem. That's the bad news. Good news is, you're the solution. So maybe tonight you need to turn off the television and you need to get out some big honking scissors and light some candles and have a plastic surgery party and chop up all your stupid credit cards because they've been such a blessing so far. And maybe when you sit down and talk to your 10-year-old about going to college, we talk about never, ever, ever taking out a freaking student loan. So he didn't call the Dave Ramsey show and say, Dave, I'm $200,000 in debt getting my degree in theology. Like the caller earlier. And you don't want that to be your kid later. The guy's in a mess. Make a decision. It's time to change. And when the nobility of your future goals is big enough, you can live through the momentary problems of the day.